Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, a top AEW star is unhappy with their recent booking.
Did WWE just spoil these main roster additions?
Another AEW star is nearing a comeback after a horrible injury.
And Gunther explains his incredible weight loss. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
I'm never trying silly voices again. We're talking about Jay White, if you hadn't had any idea. Because that's how he talks.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Bing, bing, ging.
I cannot do you've got the magic, I do not. Jay White is unhappy with his booking, according to PW Torch's Wade Keller, who has reported this. Let's just go through all the details. He was doing kind of like a rundown of the Continental Classic competitors, of which Jay White is obviously one.
Of course.
And on the Switchblade, he noted, Wade did, that White wasn't thrilled, based on what I've heard, with how things went in the build and the match against MJF. He does believe, however, that Jay might use this as motivation for a strong run in the Continental Classic. He notes as well that despite this, Jay is still among the top choices for Tony Khan to build around as a top star in the company for years to come. So it doesn't like he's gone backstage and started throwing punches or anything like that. That would never happen.
No. Excited for Survivor Series tomorrow night, by the way.
But yeah, just so you know, live stream,
Hey.
7 p.m. Eastern, right here. Set your reminders. But yeah, it sounds like he was a bit less than pleased with the build to and the match with MJF, and I get why. I do get why. I think that if you were to really sit down and examine White's presentation through all of this, you know, he was the first person to be attacked by the devil, and he just no-sold it.
Yeah.
Which was a really weird direction. Gets beaten up by a person, returns like a week later, and then goes, never mind that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure. Not a great way to start getting invested in something. And then throughout the build to it, they did very little to convince you that he actually had a chance of winning. The closest they came was that 8-man tag where he pinned MJF, and he did a good job. But then they kind of undermined that immediately by making it more about the scissoring after the bell.
Yeah,
like
or
Billy
stealing the sodding belt or
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, belt stealing angles are like so 1979.
Yeah.
The guy and his mates carry around a cardboard cutout. They are presented as clowns a lot. And sometimes that works, but not necessarily when you're challenging for a world title. So I do understand it. And then you get to the night itself where he loses to a guy with one leg who'd already wrestled that night.
Jamie and Sandow booking.
Jamie and Sandow, good grief. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think he's fair to be annoyed by it. I think he does have to carry some of the blame. Like, me and the Dadleys were talking about this, and like, can you remember a really memorable promo from Jay setting up the match?
Fair point.
Like, I remember more about Juice yelling cubic zirconium than any Jay White promo. And like you say, yeah, belt theft, the devil muddying the waters, and then when it all culminated, it was like, well, if he doesn't win this, he sucks. I do hope he gets a bit of redemption in this Continental Classic. I wouldn't book him to win it, but he needs a strong showing in it to re-establish himself.
Yeah, there was a bit of a kind of like loud noises, slinging going on over the weekend between people who were like, he's been buried, this is awful, and people who were like, he'll be fine. I think both are kind of true. Like, his presentation in the build-up, and particularly on the night of Full Gear, in my opinion, was detrimental and did him a lot more harm than good. However, I do think that long-term he will be absolutely fine, and I think that the things that got him over in New Japan will get him over in AEW. I'm not, like, personally, right, I'm not the biggest Jay White fan in the world, but I understand why people love him, and I understand why he's over. That's not to disrespect him. I think he's great. His work just doesn't really click with me.
I think, yeah, I'm reliably informed by you and the Dadleys that he's very good at playing a git in New Japan. So I think re-establishing him with, not, like I say, not the Continental Classic, but maybe being the guy to dethrone Orange Cassidy or something like that. You've got enough bloody belts in AEW. Give him one of them.
Absolutely. And if you have any thoughts on this, let us know down below. How do you think Jay White's been handled? Do you think Full Gear was fine? Are you still pissed off about it? Let us know down below. Tell us what you think of his abs as well. Great abs.
Oh, what a body.
Fantastic.
Incredible. Not a great day to be saying that when everyone's feeling very bloated after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Let's move over to WWE and some potential new main roster additions, which WWE might have accidentally spoiled. This comes from WrestleVotes, the official event program for this weekend's Survivor Series lists NXT's Gallus and the Authors of Pain on the roster listing, meaning they could both be on Raw or SmackDown soon enough. Russell votes saying, I'm told the Survivor Series official event program features 2 notable teams, one being Gallus, as no other NXT group or superstar is included. The other noteworthy team included in the program is Akam and Razor, formerly known as the Authors of Pain. Seems both could be headed to TV shortly. Full disclosure, I completely forgot that WWE had re-signed the Authors of Pain.
I forget that they'd re-sign them every 2 months, and then I'm reminded, and then I forget again. It's such a weird situation.
You told me a year ago.
Yeah, like the latest report on the matter, I believe it was Fightful Select in like August, was like the Authors of Pain were re-signed months ago, perhaps as far back as 2022. Jeez. So what on earth? I assume maybe they're putting the finishing touches on their latest wrestling event in Nottingham, England, after the last one went so well.
Got about that as well.
That was a riot to follow. That was.
Oh yeah.
I wish that bring it back, man. I want something stupid like that.
Yeah, bring more 5-star wrestling, please.
Oh, 100%.
That was great too.
So this is a really unorthodox way for people to just appear on the roster. But hey, look, we know they re-signed Akam and Razor ages ago. Gallus being on there is interesting because there's no other NXT acts.
Yeah, bit of a favourite of Triple H, Gallus, aren't they? Because I'll be honest, nothing against them, but if I was going to pick 2 people or a selection of people, I should say, from NXT, they wouldn't necessarily be top of my list.
Yeah, Celtic fans.
Ooh.
You know, I'm only joking. I met a lovely Celtic fan.
Don's only in this
show.
studio.
Aye, that's right. That's right. Especially this weekend when we take it to the Rangers. I've completely lost my train of thought.
But Authors of Pain kicked AS, and I mean, they kind of lost their way initially because it was like they brought up Paul Ellering with them, didn't they? And they went, actually, don't bother with that.
See you later, Paul.
And then they went on that weird thing with Seth Rollins for a bit, but like, look at them, just book them to dominate, and they'll be great.
Yeah, the offer. I've always found the Authors of Pain really fun. You know, like green. They're definitely green, but like I don't really care as long as they had that one squash where they powerbombed one guy on top of another, and that looked quite nasty. But I've always found them quite fun.
Imagine them butting heads with the Creed brothers.
Oh my god, it's just meat, mountains of meat going like that. And then Gallus, they're Scottish, so bring them up. Why not?
Yeah, just do
more Scots.
Steal the British invasion from TNA. There you go.
The Scottish invasion. Yeah. The Ouija invasion.
Yes.
Are they all from Glasgow? I think so.
Drew, Nikki. Anyone else I'm thinking of?
Kaylee Ray.
Kate, of course. Alba Fire. She's busy
Isla Dawn as well. So there you
busy
go.
corrupting.
There you go. Alba Fire, which literally translates as Scotland Fire. Good stuff. Right. Let's talk about Dante Martin.
Oh, good news this.
Subject of probably the most disgusting injury of the year.
I was there. It was horrible.
You remember Supercard of Honor? If you weren't there, you've probably seen the photo or the clip where it was a flipping Canadian Destroyer to the outside, Penta through a table. And Martin's left leg landed on the floor and it snapped. It is the Sid thing. Like, the leg snapped. It was disgusting. And when you see something like that happen, you think, oh, he's going to be out forever. But he's actually coming back a little bit sooner than maybe people would have thought.
Yeah.
So that was back in March that he was injured. Last day of March. Fightful Select reporting now that he's been backstage in AEW, and now Big Dante might be on the verge of a comeback. So there's no word on any creative, no word on any specific plans. But obviously his brother, Darius, has been all over the shop.
Yeah.
He's been very active on Ring of Honor in particular, but he's also been on AEW TV a couple of times while his top flight tag team partner and sibling has been away. Recently he wrestled Roddy Strong on Collision. Dante, I don't know, Darius, saying stuff in that voice is just doing my nutting, so why did I do it? A glutton for punishment, obviously. But Top Flight, very talented tag team. They've been kind of cursed over the past few years.
Yeah.
Car accident.
One of them's always injured,
Yeah, for Darius the other year, that put him out for ages, and then Dante snaps his leg. It's just like, my goodness, you guys have had some horrible luck. But hopefully they can put that behind them now because they're very talented.
I hope 2024 is their year. I'd probably put some belts on them, to be perfectly honest. I think they're just so great and so eye-catching, and yeah, just be nice to see them tagging together for a prolonged period of time next year. But yeah, the most important thing is recovered from that. Not just recovered quickly from that, recovered at all, because it was horrible.
Yeah, it's like
horrible injury.
Visually, It's so horrifying when you see that. Like, bones aren't meant to go that way.
I know with this morbid fascination with this sort of thing, but I did not appreciate going on the hashtag for Ring of Honor and the slow-mo version of that being everywhere.
Like, what kind of freak wants to watch that? Like, you accidentally stumble on these things, of course, but like, I don't want a close-up slow-mo, like, what's going on? What is that? Who's into that? I don't know.
Wait a second, is X bad?
Maybe.
Right, let's move over and talk about some other good news. Gunther, he's been talking with his friend of the channel, lovely man, Chris Van Vliet, about his incredible weight loss, because obviously he looks very different now, as he did when he was down in NXT, and then obviously moved up to the main roster. They booked him like a baby at Survivor Series when he was part of Team NXT, and now look at him, he's dominant, Intercontinental Champion, breaking all sorts of records left, right and centre. And he's been talking about his transformation, basically. Lost 65 pounds.
Nice.
It's incredibly impressive. And talking with Chris, he said the first step was during COVID, we have a friend that's a bodybuilder and he's coaching people. I think he owns a gym now and runs it and stuff. He started to help Kaiser and Gio, obviously the rest of Imperium, with their diet a little bit, and they were following a diet. They got in incredible shape. So we had that guy around. I was never really interested in that sort of thing. Usually I was always on top of things in my adult life, but the diet is always something I kind of neglected. You're preaching to the choir here. I was good the way I was, but when I was signed for the main roster, I knew, okay, moving on now, I'm going to be on national TV. I thought, let's bring the best version of yourself you can. You're going to be in front of millions of people every week. I'm glad I did it. I feel like the independent wrestler, Walter, by the way, when he says, I'm glad I did it, he's not just talking about the weight loss in terms of you changing his look. He says, I feel like the independent wrestler, Walter, was a little bit bigger, looked like a butcher from the next door shop, and that was cool. It was. I think that was fine for then. I feel like the wrestling enthusiasts on the independent market, like when you think back, Stan Hansen, Terry Gordy, the bigger guys, I think it has its place in wrestling a little bit, but I felt like it was time to make a step and progress. Yeah, I never really had an issue with Walter looking the way he did before, mainly because if me having an issue with that ever got back to him, I wouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah, your chest certainly wouldn't.
But fair play, what an incredible transformation, Andy.
Yeah, like I thought his look was good previously. I like a kind of bulky heavyweight pro wrestler, like he's mentioned Stan Hansen and Terry Gordy there. I think that physique looks awesome in pro wrestling. And it's not necessarily always about being Lex Luger or whatever. But my goodness, what a transformation. Yeah. Like, he looks incredible.
Yeah, he's still got the size, obviously.
Yeah, but he's like leaned out. He's probably healthier. He probably feels better. So hats off to him. It's an incredible transformation. I think he looks like $1 million. It's obviously a hugely positive life choice as well. On top of all of that, I'd like to know his secret. Please send it to me.
Yes.
Mr. I believe his surname is Han. Mr. Han, good friend of mine. Send me your secrets. But yeah, he looks tremendous. Hats off to him.
I hate seeing these sorts of things because I go like, wow, that's really inspirational. I should do that next year. And then I go, oh, diet?
Yeah.
Oh.
You get to January 1st and it's like, broccoli? Get in the bin.
But yeah, mate, I think obviously going up to WWE's main roster when it was run, the way it was being run, obviously, I think that was helped him in terms of getting booked correctly. Had he looked the way he did in NXT, would he have broken all the records as IC champion? I don't know.
Would Vince have pushed him as strongly? Absolutely not.
Just look at Survivor Series.
Yes, sir.
2 minutes and 57 seconds he was in that match for.
Jeezy peeps.
And Drew McIntyre was like, out you go, pal.
Yeah,
but yeah, fair play. And check out loads of stuff on Chris Van Vliet's channel because he's brilliant and he's got excellent wrestler interviews on a weekly basis now. He's knocking loads of fantastic ones out.
Machine.
And he's an absolute piece. And a new dad. Congratulations again, Chris.
Congratulations to all the dads out there.
Yeah. And if you're a fan of the Daddy Boys, subscribe to the WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from.
If you like podcasts about fatherhood.
And three blokes who do not take care of themselves. Right, let's move over to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from David Newport, who writes, good morning, legends. Morning, David. Hope you have a nice day. I'm a big fan of Keith Lee, but his book in AEW leaves a lot to be desired. I can picture him going back to WWE if things don't improve. I imagine Triple H would be chuffed to have him back. Thoughts?
I could see him going back to WWE for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think Triple H would love to have him back. And obviously, Mia Yim, his partner, wrestles there. So that's probably an appeal, being on the road with your partner. Yeah, his AEW run's been really weird. Really weird. It's like the Swerve program, they did that for like 6 months or whatever, and then they just didn't wrestle ever. It's never happening. He's doing it now with Shane Taylor, where they've been teasing a match for months and months and months, playing on their history as the Pretty Boy Killers, I believe their name was, back in the day. And they're probably not going to pay that off either, because they just seem to forget about Keith Lee. It's weird. I think that he still has plenty to offer. Look, I don't think that Keith Lee is quite the wrestler he used to be.
No, he's gone through a lot as well. Yeah,
100%. Like, there's clear reasons for that. The guy had a horrifying health issue a few years ago. I'm not saying that is, linked or whatever, but he's not quite as explosive as he used to be. I think that's fair. But at the same time, I think he still has plenty to offer as like a video game powerhouse that can do incredible things. And I believe he deserves more than his current presentation, so no, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm sorry to all the champions in AEW. I just keep doing this on every story we seem to do, but I wouldn't book him to win the world title, but I'd book him to win a mid-card title without question.
Would you book him to challenge for a title, lose, and then immediately have the champion vacate the belt? Would you do that? Is that something you would do?
No, probably not.
I love Samoa Joe, but that was weird.
Yeah, Keith Lee, genuinely lovely bloke, trained by WCPW, of course.
Yes, taught him everything he knows.
Great to see what he's gone on to do. And yeah, I'd have him back in WWE. I'm sure Triple H would, without question. So
indubitably.
I will say this: Keith Lee, despite checkered times in AEW, part of probably one of my top 5 favourite moments ever in that promotion.
Oh, the yeet.
That and the Rick Ross thing.
Oh, bring back Rick Ross.
I might rewatch that today.
Rick Ross.
That segment is an all-timer, isn't it?
Rick Ross ruled ass in AEW. Bring him back.
Accusations!
The young legend. I love him. Bring him back!
If they bring him in to help Swerve win the title.
Oh, goodness gracious
back,
me.
baby.
Get Action Bronson back in as well.
Yes,
why the heck not?
Without question.
Why the heck not?
Mimi Boris gives us our second question. Great to hear from you as always, Mimi. Good morning, guys. Morning. Would you prefer if the Devil was a current member of the AEW roster, like Adam Cole, or if it was a new signing like Mustafa Ali? Thanks for all the content as always. You're welcome.
I think I'd probably at this point prefer if it was somebody who's already there. I would like.
Makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would like to see them. You do it to like build a story from roots in AEW, if that makes sense. So for me, the Devil should be someone who feels slighted by MJF, someone who you have watched be slighted by MJF at whatever point in their career, and then you can call back to it and kind of tie it together. That to me would be a little bit more satisfying than like an outsider who just comes in as like a disruptor.
It may shock you to hear this, Andy, but I'm a bit of a hypocrite.
Oh.
Because I said at the beginning, it can't be Adam Cole. He's injured. Look at his bloody x-ray of his ankle and what have you. I think it should be Adam Cole. I think, like you say, you've got that story there of his relationship with MJF and him thinking, right, well, I tried to beat you on the biggest stage and that didn't work, so I'm going to become a devil. And did you see the clip doing the rounds on Twitter last night where someone had zoomed in just before the screen goes dark when MJF was cutting that promo and they had the modulated laugh of the devil on Dynamite this week? Adam Cole just goes into his pocket for something.
Oh.
And he's little pressing a button to do the gimmick. I don't know, but I like that as a booking idea. And hey, anything that brings Kyle O'Reilly back with him, fine by me.
Yeah, I miss Kyle O'Reilly.
Final question today.
He's been gone for ages.
Oh, yeah.
Hope he's okay.
Get well soon. Sticking with the Devil, actually. Final question today comes from Fionn McDon9168.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah.
Fionn. Happy Flat Friday, legends.
He's here. The Flatty is here.
Sticking with the Devil, if you could pick a current WWE superstar to be the Devil in AEW, who would it be?
Seth Rollins.
Yes!
Purely for the drip. That's the only reason. Imagine him wearing a red suit with some stupid horns and some weird boots.
Glasses with horns on them?
Yeah, just imagine him being a little freak. Like walking around going, it'd be great. Seth Rollins. I just want the costumes.
Yeah, and it's a phenomenal suggestion, that. It's actually probably the correct suggestion. But I'll present an alternative. If you're going to get a WWE star, you want it to be a big star, a star of WrestleMania caliber, and that's why the Devil should be Shane McMahon. Well, wait a second. The Devil was here before, and there's a trail of sweat leading that way.
The Devil has still got it, so.
Still be better than Jack Perry, in my opinion.
Yes, it would.
But let us know your thoughts, and, check out this video.
Humanity is the Devil. Bye.